Good morning, it's Heather the Treasure Pirate here. I'm just here doing a long overdue sales report. This is just a little bit that shows the orange being, that was last year around this time, January through to now, and this blue one is me, so this year. So I'm actually doing better, especially lately. What can I put that down to? I'm not entirely sure. I had a pretty bad January by my sort of standards. But I have been going back through my listings. I have been trying to change up pictures, improve listings, just improve things all round and kind of do a bit of weeding, if you like, in the garden that is eBay. And I think that's really helped. I've had quite a few older things that I'd had listed for a while ago, simply because I think I've put better keywords in the titles and I've been a bit more mindful about what I'm doing there. What I like to see, I like my average sale, if I can, to be around the £30 mark. I'm getting rid of some old stock, it's down a little, but I'm pretty pleased with that, and all my figures are up from a year ago, so that also is good news, because hey, you know, we all like to make profit. So I've got like about 30 items to show you, just to give you a flavour. Some are pretty good, some are not so good, and I'll walk you through where we are. Excuse the handheld business, I don't want to make anybody feel seasick. Right, this little bit of loveliness is was a Liberty box. Now I bought this for £1.50 in the charity shop. Yeah, I knew it was beautiful. It was only when I flipped over on its bum and it actually said it was made for Liberty. Can I show you that there? Made for Liberty by Sacha Bowl Designs, made in London. I didn't know how good it was, but I did have it slightly higher, like most of the people I do price high to start with, and it didn't go for Christmas. I did reduce it, and I did get the full asking price there. I always add shipping on top in case anyone wants to know that. Right, I'm trying to do things with two hands here. So it was this rather beautiful sort of cabochon. This is pewter, this is not silver, it's just pewter attached to a box. Okay, next one. You see, I get them all right and then they're not right. This is a bit hard to see because it just looks like an old dish rag. But I paid, this was from one of my sort of bundles, so I paid about £3 for this. And it's I thought it was like a wedding veil sort of jacket thing. Sorry, I'm messing about here because I can't see where my cursor is. It had a big train on it with a handle, and it's kind of modern nylon, so it is for the 60s. I did give it a wash because it was looking a bit yellowed. I don't wash very many things, but this vastly improved it. There's little buttons down the front. Sorry the colour's doing that. It is white, sort of ivory. I always say ivory white on anything old because, to be honest, it's never as white as one would like. And it went for £19.99, so that sold quite quickly. That was quite a quick sale, and it's a tiny size. Next, I do put these up to the right place, and for some reason my computer doesn't like it. Joseph Ribkoff. I see this every now and again, and I just grab it because I find these kind of slightly mad tops. Sorry, that's because I've got the cursor over it there. That looks a bit better, doesn't it? Black stretchy with this kind of mad 80s ruffle that you could wear sort of up or down. You could have the collar up. And it's kind of shiny and metallic and very blingy. There we are, that was the original first picture. Really rather lovely, a good size in a 14, and I do put the keywords party, cruise, holiday in because people are always going somewhere. And this also sold quite quickly. This was another one that cost me about £3, and it went for £29.99. It hadn't been worn. You could, again, if I'm absolutely certain you can really tell from the look of something that it has been unused, then I will happily put it up for that. So there we go, that was a nice thing. Lovely. Now this was notoriously hard to photograph. Where's my cursor gone? See, I'm looking through the... there we go. It's actually hexagonal. And although you can't really see it terribly clearly here, it's what they call summer-so, where they have different colours running through it. It was just a little thing. I picked it up in a charity shop for £1.99. I'm no expert in glass, but sometimes something heavy and has a feeling of quality about it, and this screamed quality, and I looked it up, I researched it through using Google Images, and I found out what it was. It's a slightly unusual colourway with 2 shades of blue rather than a contrast colour, and it was a mid-century piece, so 44.99 out of a couple of quid. Happy days. It was only 5.5 inches tall. It wasn't a big thing. These letters that I put up here, this is my Bricker box. BR4 is my, that's so I can find stuff, because I'm trying to get better with that. The more stuff you have, and I've got about 900 odd listings on now, so it's quite serious. Sometimes finding things can be a bit of a headache. So I was pleased with that. This, although it looks big, this is absolutely tiny. It is literally about 2.5 inches tall. It's a small, small size, 5 mils, and I do say that in the title. I do declare it. It hadn't been used. This is one variety of a perfume that I actually love. It's called Aqua di Parma, and it does command very high prices. And this was a flavour called Iris Nobile. I did sniff it. I decided it wasn't for me, and I paid £1 for this in a charity shop. And I've got another one, the same. It's a slightly different perfume, but £19.99. I thought I was going high. I mean, really, but there was nothing else on there. And the big ones are huge. They're near £100. So I thought somebody might want this, and it's, if I can see where my cursor's gone, here we are. Ah, okay, not so clear. Aqua di Parma. If you ever see that, I first fell in love with this perfume because when I very first started going to charity shops, I found a bigger Aqua di Parma, the classic one, and I bought it, and I didn't sell it because I loved it. So that stayed with me. I have got a thing about perfume, I've got to be honest. It's one of my deep, deep passions. This was actually something of ours. My son, when he was much smaller, did a thing called rugby tots, which is quite big down here in the southeast. I don't know if anyone else has it. And we'd bought these little cones, and we had a spare ball. And I figured, you know, someone else out there doesn't want to pay full whack for it from rugby tots because they're flipping expensive. So I just bundled this up. £13.99, pure profit really, with, you know, just my own stuff. So that was pretty good. Not a big sale, but, you know, bread and butter, that's what we need as well. This was the most difficult thing to photograph in the world. You can see from all of its ruffles, this is one of those quite sought after per-owner jobs. This was brown rather than black, otherwise I'd have probably kept it. And it had this, lighting. It had this very fishtail, it's a real bustle effect. You see, the ordinary picture of it just looks so dull. I struggle with brown, I really do, but it was a size 10 as well, not a big size. And I still priced it high because I know the steampunk thing rolls on and on. There are always people into the gothic side of things, Whitby, Victoriana, and it was cord as well, a needle cord. So I was quite happy with that, and I was quite pleased because that actually took a couple of cycles to sell, but worth holding out because you can get very good money for these things if you find them. Why does my voice always go when I'm going to do one of these? This was Dullsville personified. Again, I think it probably cost me £3 because when I buy a bundle of stuff, I work out the average cost is about £2.50 to £3 when I'm buying my bundles from my contact. This was actually St Michael. Is a men's very loose linen shirt, but you know, £12.99 plus shipping, fair enough. Bread and butter stuff, nice horn buttons on it. St Michael, I think we all know, does well. The market is quite flooded with it, obviously, we've all caught onto it. This doesn't show up as anything particularly special, but it's the All Saints brand. You will know the All Saints, sorry I'm waving you about here, because they have this little, oh damn it, it's the light. It has like a little sort of goat head logo on it. All Saints is perennially popular. This one I had a lot of trouble with it actually. Somebody was trying to buy it and they were saying that eBay wasn't letting them buy it and they were having problems with their PayPal, and what could I do? And I had to explain that I couldn't actually do very much, that they might have to go and talk to PayPal. But what I said was, I'll put reserved on it so it's yours. That's all I can do is hold it for you. And he sorted whatever his problems were with PayPal out and bought it. So happy days, £29.99. It was a merino jumper. I will buy merino when I see it. And it was a decent size. All Saints does come up quite small. So their version of XL was a 42 chest, which isn't a large to me. Here we have Bouffal. This was a 50p pickup in a charity shop. I just thought, well, he was new with his tag. Took a while to go, mind you, but he's just sold. £7.99 plus shipping. As I say, bread and butter stuff. Glad to see it go. This was rather nice. Only sold this last week. The ski season is, well, you would have thought, pretty much over. And this is quite a bright little piece, I have to say. Yellow and black. It looks a bit brown on the screen here. But I sold it for 60 quid. I paid £5 for it. It did have a tiny mark, which I declared, of course, and I worked out it was a ladies' one. So quite happy to see that go. 60 quid, very nice profit margin on that. Happy days. Very happy with this one too. These two went in the same day, so I was deeply chuffed. Gant. I think everyone knows Gant is a super make. I've had this a while, and I have reduced it, and I have reduced it. I wasn't going to go much lower, to be fair, but it's a nice leather jacket in a big size, and it finally went for £129.99 plus £6.99 shipping. It's a very nice quality brand, Gant, and I pick up their jumpers, their jeans, trousers, and I find they usually sell quite quickly. This took longer because it was more of a high ticket item. This was new with its tags. I don't pick up woolovers or woolovers or whatever they're called very often. This was cashmere merino, and it was new with tags, and again it cost me about £3. Oh, I should have said that Gant jacket. I think I did pay £10 for that. But anyway, it was a long time ago. I can't really remember. But I will pick up new stuff with tags. A lot of the woolies I'm kind of keeping clear of because the market is saturated. But that was a good one. £23.99 plus shipping for a £3 payout. I'm zooming along here because I'm aware it takes a while. Now these were, I would say, were a bit of a blooper of mine. I am passionate about history. These were absolutely wonderful. They're quite beautiful. Historic, narrow, tiny Edwardian shoes. I actually did pay out, I think I paid about £45 for these, thinking they were going to be worth a lot more. The condition was actually a bit worse than I thought. I hadn't been careful enough in reading descriptions, lesson to self, but I have sold them for more than I paid for them. So I wasn't entirely displeased, but they've been hanging around like a bad smell for a very long time, and I won't be buying historic shoes again, even though I like them, the look of them. To be honest, I wouldn't get one toe in those, my feet are far too wide. But they're beautiful. This Lululemon, I've heard of these from the Americans. Not something you see very often in this country. The value of them has dropped like a stone in the US, but I know that people like them here. This was a lovely, I would have kept it for myself, to be frank. I think it's fantastic. A nice workout top with a built-in supported bra. Have I got a better picture to show you? She says, working my way there. It had a nice cross back. There is a little logo that goes with these. There it is, that funny little squiggle. So if you ever see anything with that sort of strange little symbol on an omega type sign, it's worth grabbing, because I was surprised that I did get £24.99 with these, but it was very unused. It was obviously unused. It had never been worn. Quite pleased with that little purchase there. So thank you to, I think that was probably Nicole State, who I do watch. Bit of a shout out there to her, because her site is quite different from what we do here. This doesn't look much because I tried photographing against white, against my darker, but they're actually little doggies. If I get my mouse out of the way, they're little Scotty dogs. Now whether this went because it was Crafts Week, I don't know. I hadn't even thought of that. It was only a size 10. This was a £3.50 pickup. It went for £17.99, but it went quick. And we know things with animals on always go pretty fast. And it was Bowden. Not everything Bowden does brilliantly for me, but hey, that was worth picking up. This I'd had for a long time. This is an example of something very old going out. It's a textured mug, one of these 3D ones. It's the Shuttle from the Johnson Space Centre, obviously an American thing. Deeply happy that finally sold, $11.49 and $4.99 shipping, because it's bloody big and heavy. You'd literally get a gallon of tea in that. Quite chuffed with that. I mean, of course, you know, it's been a long while since the Shuttle's been about, but there are people who collect these, and it was in very fine condition. It was rather lovely. Johnson Space Centre. So I was glad to see that go, because these things take up space. This was a little Ted Baker top. I bought this with a skirt for £3.50. The skirt had a mark on it that was so faint, but I couldn't sell it. Ditched the skirt, just sold the top as it was. And that went very, very fast at £16.99. A tiny size, a 10. But Ted Baker does all right for me. Sometimes it goes slow, but I'll pick it up if I see it cheap enough. This is an unusual brand, certainly worth keeping an eye out for. It's called One Like No Other. This was an extra large size. Now, it doesn't really show the true glory of this thing. This was about bright purple. It had these sort of flip back cuffs, contrast cuffs, and it seemed to be a limited edition. I have got a picture somewhere that says, yeah, One Like No Other, and it was actually a limited edition, number 64 out of 500. I've never heard of shirts being limited editions. I had this for quite a while, but I hung on to it. It was in great condition, and eventually it sold for $29.99 plus shipping. So quite happy with that. Men's shirts don't take up much room once they're flat packed. Diesel Loku men's jeans. Diesel jeans always do well for me. I will grab them. This was an example of a schoolgirl error. Jeans, as we know, change shape. Levi's are notorious for it, and Diesel I think are even worse. These were 30 wide, 30 long, and I have made a mistake in the title, 34 by 32. They're not going to get longer. They had actually shrunk to a 27. Funnily enough, I did actually have it in the description that they were 27, but of course when the guy ordered it and I got them out, I thought, my God, these are so short. I did message him and I said, are you sure? I said, I think I've made an error here. They are a short length. They're 27 long and 34 wide. And I waited a day to hear from him. I didn't hear from him and I sent them out. I've not had a comeback so far, but I'm half expecting these to come back to me, to be honest. But there you go. That's my fault for not checking. So don't do as I do. Do as I say. Always double check your measurements and make sure, especially with things like jeans, or they'll come back to you. Just to show there's still life in the old bloody soup mugs. I've still got a set of these up. I was a bit optimistic. I thought, you know, I want these gone. But I thought, well, it's a complete one. They've got the mulligatawny with them. And they did sell for $29.99. I hate posting these buggers. I hate packing and posting China. Especially when it's not very high end, because you just know something's going to happen. They've been received. They're all in one piece. And I did get $29.99 for them with a tenner postage. So, you know, soup mugs aren't completely dead. Long live the soup mug. This, very hard to photograph, but this was actually a black jacket, velvet jacket, still going strong because of the steampunk influence, because people can wear velvet as an outer layer when the weather gets warmer. But this was rather lovely, only by Savoy, nothing terribly special. But $33.99, not bad, plus shipping. Was very happy with that. Had a nice little filling on the cuff, so really true steampunk style. Photographing black stuff though, seriously, not easy. And I sell so much black stuff, so I can't be doing too badly. Happy days. Again, here we go. Cashmere, cashmere, cashmere. Always worth capturing. This is a lot pinker than it's looking on your screen there. This was M&S. M&S cashmere does just fine. This sold for a bit more than I thought it would, but it was a big size. I came across a batch of big sizes and I paid, literally, it was £1 each. I was a jumble sale, and £1 for cashmere. I wasn't even looking for holes, I just grabbed. And I came back with 4 of them from one jumble sale. I was very happy indeed, and this is the first big one that's sold. I didn't tell you the price of that jacket before. God, what am I like? I think I paid about £4 for that Savoy jacket before. Generally, I'm not going to pay too much for stuff, but if I know there's money in it, I don't mind. This is more of an unusual one. It's a really, really strange shirt. It was Turnbull and Asser, and it was all bundled up in an old pack. It actually came in its original pack, which had deteriorated quite badly. I took one look at it, I thought, that is really, really old. I tried to research. There you go. Turnbull and Asser of Jermyn Street. This label is very old. I tried contacting Turnbull and Asser to see if they were interested in it, because I figured this must be really old. And I mean, you know, probably back to wartime or even before. The style of it was incredible. It had this extra kind of panel across the front here. So I looked as far as I could. It wasn't a big size, the sleeves weren't long, but I thought someone might want this for study of how things were made, and I priced it high. Because I've never seen one like it. I couldn't find anything, and it did go. I've had it for a while, but $64.99, I couldn't be more pleased with that. You know, things that are very old, there are people who design and who want to see old stuff and who want to use it as a lesson, as a way of learning. So I was very happy to get that price. Here's a nice one, day-to-day stuff. Gemma Collins, I'd not heard of her, but she's somebody who's quite famous for being nice and curvy, quite glamorous lady. And she has her own line of clothing, and this was enough difficult to pin on my tiny dummy, I have to say. But it was really bright and vibrant, very spring-like, very colourful, bold, floral, which is all in at the moment. There we are, Gemma Collins, size 24, and that went on its second cycle. Again, this was one from a big bundle I picked up, so it was about £3 to me, and that went for £24.99 plus shipping. So very happy with that, and I will keep an eye out for any nice Gemma Collins pieces because I think she's popular. This has got to be the world's worst picture. Just looks like a dish rag. But the point of this is to say, Sweaty Betty. Do pick up Sweaty Betty. She's very well known for her yoga stuff. I come across it very rarely. But these were harem pants, which is why they just look like a nappy. Pretty hideous. That was my original picture. Sorry, I can't see what I'm doing. There we are. That was the original picture. Folded a bit more neatly. And I just changed the picture up because I think it has an effect on eBay. £29.99 they went for. They went very quickly. First cycle. They won't hang around. Anything Sweaty Betty, just grab it because people like it. It has a nice quality feel to it. Good stuff. Had these for a long time. Thought they were beautiful. These were an eBay snipe. I think I literally got them for something like £2.99. They were boxed. I had a blue pair that sold. They're only... No, they were size 7. But this kitten heel is kind of a nice thing. They were beautiful. Not the sort of shoes I can wear at all. Really, really sweet. Nice little bow detail to the front. Absolutely stunning. Well looked after. So I was quite happy to get my £29.99 for those when I'd literally got 2 pairs for about £5 plus some shipping. Very happy with that. Keywords, slingback, peep toe, you know, kitten heels and Bally. Bally always sells eventually. It's just sometimes that was a bit of a slow one. Bit difficult to see this. My picture here is not so good. Let me go down here. There we are. That's it. Sort of out. Slightly different coloration. Changing bags. There's a bit of a cult around changing bags. I seem to remember when with my son that people were very funny about which ones they wanted. But this is by Bebamour. It looked in decent condition. I paid £2 for it. At a jumble, it had the changing mat inside. It was in good condition. It needed a wipe over, but everything was fine. And that went for £24.99. So some of these branded changing bags can do well. But at £2 I was going to take a punt anyway. Something I perhaps ought to learn more about. There's a nice picture on the side. Nice orange colour. Something a bloke wouldn't mind wearing. And that's worth bearing in mind, actually. You know, sort of these new men who like to go around with their baby wear on their back. Now this was a nice find. Doesn't come out terribly well on the camera, for which I can only apologise. This was £3 again, part of a bundle. A nice wool jacket with this beautiful crewel work embroidery all over it. I was all over this. I'd have had it for myself if it had fitted me. It was too small. But just beautiful. Florals are in, spring's coming. It's a vintage piece, but it very translates into modern wear. Nice little buttons, all embroidered. Nice line to it, nice little detailing on the back there. So I priced it high because I just thought it was fabulous, and it went quite quickly. £44.99 for £3 paid plus shipping. Happy days again. We're nearly there. This I've had forever. This was hanging around. It was a tiny size. A 38, and I thought, you know, it must be women's. So I put it under women's. I thought it could be for maybe a kid. Very 80s look and feel. Finally sold it for £34.99. It's, you know, there were scuffs and wear. It looked a bit Michael Jackson to me. But the chap who had this was very, very happy with it. And it was really cool, you know, very bright. Not my usual area of expertise, but hey, you know, good profit there. I think I probably paid about a £5 for it. I don't usually pay much more even for this sort of thing, unless I'm very sure of the brand. This wasn't really, I mean, TT is a brand, but it wasn't top notch. But just a great bit of design. So there we go. That's all my orders, or well, some of the more interesting ones. I have been, as you saw earlier, having quite a decent month after an incredibly poor January, but I wasn't well over Christmas. So I'm putting more energy into it now, and I think that's what pays off. So I hope it all picks up for you guys. I know we're at the way it goes, the feast and famine thing that we have with eBay. You know, that's always the way it's going to be. But just keep going, keep listing, keep tweaking your existing listings. Keep playing around with it. Keep being active, because that's what eBay likes, is activity. Whatever it is you're doing, you know, change things around, change prices. Don't always cut your prices too hard. You know, if you can hang in there, do, because stuff that has good value will get good money. It's just being patient and hanging in there. So thanks everyone for watching. Subscribe if you'd like more of this. You know, the usual. Lick the like button, as they might say. And I will try and post a little more frequently and a bit more often with decent stuff for you to feast your eyes on and be on the lookout for. Thank you very much. Bye.